What's up, people? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I put out a video, cold weather and such, but we're going to try to change that and start picking up the pace. For today's excursion, we are in Titusville, Florida, trying to watch the Artemis II launch. In particular, we are at Sand Point Park, which in my opinion is one of the best places to watch a rocket launch. Artemis II or SpaceX or whatever's going up. This is a public park, 30 acres of riverfront. It has exercise trail, astronaut memorial, picnic areas, and for us old folks, public restrooms. It's approximately 12 miles from pad 39B, but there's a line of sight view where you can actually see Artemis sitting on the launch pad if you have enough zoom. The beginning of the launch window for Artemis II started at 6:25 p.m. So I actually arrived at Sand Point Park around 1 p.m. The park was already packed as I entered, and as I circled and finally found a parking spot, let's take a walk across the parking lot area and figure out where we're going to watch this launch from. This is a beautiful park. Right now it seems like we got some cloudy skies, which may not be beneficial for a launch, but we'll see how it plays out. In the distance you see the Max Brewer Bridge, which is another place many people go to watch the launch. It's probably a better place because you got some height to it, but it's jam-packed, it's insane. From where I am, you can see with a zoom lens Artemis on the pad underneath the bridge. This park has exercise trails. It's a really nice park. Like I said, it goes along the Indian River. It's incredible. It's a nice place to be. The closer we got to the launch, the more chaotic parking became, and it really was insane. People were just parking in the street. So what I'm going to plan on doing now is approximately 10 minutes to launch. We're going to let the soundtrack from Mission Operations cover the last 10 minutes of this launch, and just let it play out. Enjoy. This audio is courtesy of NASA.
Mainline has been initiated. T-minus 10 minutes and counting.
And that begins terminal count. Our new T0 is 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time. 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time. We are now counting down to liftoff of Artemis II. From now on, you're going to hear two voices on the loops. If everything goes nominally, NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding, who's directly managing the launch team, and Alex Bendelos, the GLS operator who closely monitors the software. He has the ability to stop and restart the countdown. A lot of people ask about whether there's a launch button. There certainly is not.
Flight and rock. Our new T0 is 22:35:12. Houston flight copies. Rock copies. 22:35:12. Affirm.
There you heard confirmation of the exact T0, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Again, our T0 is 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. But as I was saying, there's no launch button. This is autonomous, but there is a button that keeps you from launching, and that button allows the GLS operator to pause the countdown outside of terminal count and during terminal count and submit a hold to the next holding point. So the clock won't stop right away. If there's an issue, we'll go to the next stable holding point. This is how GLS configures the rocket and ground systems to a stable point where they can stop the countdown if that's needed. But right now, we are counting down our next big milestone, looking to retract the crew access arm.
GLS is go for crew access arm retract.
And there you see the crew access arm moving away. That's the path that the astronauts took to ingress into the rocket. Until this point, that was their way off the pad if they needed to evacuate. But now with that arm retracting, the backup transitions to a launch abort system. And they'll begin arming that shortly. Of course, the launch abort system, great shot there of the crew access arm retracting away. The launch abort system is the tower at the top, and that's what would pull Orion and its crew off the top of the rocket in case of an emergency, whether it's on the ground or in flight. This is critical safety hardware that protects the lives of the astronauts. Starting at T-minus 6 minutes, the GLS will start bringing that and other high-energy systems online, starting with core stage pressurization. Weather is 90% go, the range is go, all systems are go.
GLS is go for core stage 10 pressurization.
That means the replenish valve for the liquid hydrogen tank has now closed, and that tank is beginning to pressurize to flight levels because that hydrogen is naturally boiling inside the tank. We'll get the liquid oxygen tank a little later in the count. Now the team is waiting for verification that, if needed, the Artemis II crew could use the launch abort system to pull Orion safely off the top of the rocket in an emergency. Let's listen in for that call.
GLS verifies last capability available.
And CDRD copy.
CDR copies, last available.
That's great news, and you heard the NTD verify that with the commander of the mission.
GLS is go for FTS arm.
Now work is being done to arm the flight termination system. This is so the range safety can send a flight termination command if the rocket flies too far off track. There's a brief built-in delay, so the launch abort system has time to pull the astronauts to
GLS is
safety
go for
first.
LH2 high flow bleed check.
All right, the high flow bleed check. That's so the cryo team gets verification that the RS-25 engines, all four of them, are in the proper temperature range for launch.
GLS is go for core stage APU start.
Core stage APUs start. Those are auxiliary power units, high-speed turbines which provide pressure to hydraulic pumps that steer the RS-25 engines. We're going to see a gimbal test a little later at T-minus 2 minutes and 30 seconds. This is what allows that to happen. Coming up in about 20 seconds, We're listening for go for purge sequence 4. That's a helium purge of the 4 core stage engines downstream of the propellant valve. This gets all the air and moisture out of there.
GLS, go for purge sequence 4.
Moving through the milestones. All is looking good. Coming up in just a few seconds, we're going to get that thrust vector control actuator test. This is a gimbaling of the engines. There are the 4 RS-25s, 3 of them Shuttle Heritage, 1 of them built from shuttle parts. And there you see them moving. Now we're going to start moving the power for both the upper stage and the lower stage of the rocket to internal, taking ground power away and now going to battery power.
GLS is go for upper stage internal power.
Right, power is removed from the rocket's upper stage, the ICPS, and it's been switched to battery. Same milestone for the lower core stage coming up at T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds. Right now, the 4-person Artemis II crew is 248,000 miles away from the moon. And if all goes well, they will fly by it in 6 days.
GLS is go for core stage to internal power.
All right, there's the rocket's core stage, which houses 3 flight computers. It's now on its own power. There's no more hold time because there's no more margin on these batteries. So we'd have to recycle back to T-minus 10 to recharge if we had a hold.
One minute.
Right now, the rocket does not know what the T0 is, but coming up at T-minus 33 seconds, control shifts from the ground launch sequencer to the rocket's onboard autonomous launch sequencer, or ALS. The rocket will count itself down, but honor any holds that could come from the ground. Now, shortly after liftoff, Houston will take control of the rocket, and my colleague Gary Jordan will take over commentary.
GLS, go for ALS.
Great call out. The rocket is on its own. 4 brave explorers ready to ride the most powerful rocket NASA has ever launched. Sound suppression water is flowing. And here we go.
So after this launch, I thought I had a great idea that I would rush back to my car and be one of the first ones to get in traffic, so I would be the first one to get out. As it turns out, that's a mistake. Traffic in this park is basically like when an airplane lands at the airport. Everyone wants to jump into the aisle, but you really don't go that far because the plane empties from front to back. And that's the same thing with this park. You know, I jumped in traffic early, only went 3 or 4 car lengths, and then I stopped and probably sat there in that position for about an hour. But after that, once we started moving, it moved at a good pace because the front of the park was totally empty. Thanks for watching this content. I hope, like I said, I plan on being much more consistent, putting out content in the future. While in Florida, I hope to do several videos on Meredith Island Wildlife Refuge. They have some trails that I'll probably run down, and we'll see what else we can find. So please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.